Have you ever thought that if you buy just 3 primary colors, you should be able to mix almost anything? No giant set, just one small Daniel Smith primary set. That's exactly what we are exploring today. This video is a follow-up to my series, Essential Budget-Conscious Watercolor Paints, where I introduced the 369 palette structures. Here, we are finally putting the 3-color palette to work so you can see it in action. For this demo, I'm using Perylene red, a deep, slightly yellowish-brownish red, closer to maroon than a clean magenta. Hansa yellow medium, a middle, slightly warm yellow that leans gently toward orange. French ultramarine, a warm red-biased blue that leans toward the violet rather than green. You'll see through this demo the strengths and limitations of this triad, how each pair behaves in mixes, and a brighter alternative 3-color set. You will see me jump around the painting, so I can clearly show each color mixing idea, not strictly the order I paint in. At first glance, this looks like a very balanced red, yellow, and blue. So you might expect bright oranges, greens, and purples straight out of the color wheel diagram. In a previous lesson, the color wheel isn't what you think. I talked about why that almost never happens with real paint. Primary colors on a diagram don't automatically create clean, ideal secondaries in real pigment. The reason is, there is no perfect set of 3 primaries that works for every purpose. Every pigment has a bias. Some lean warm, some lean cool, some carry a little bit of their neighbors with them. Those hidden tendencies dramatically affect the mixes we get. This Daniel Smith triad is a textbook example. Let's start with the good news. There's a lot to like here. All 3 colors are rich and single pigment. That means your mixes are predictable and you don't have hidden extra pigments mudding things up. Little paint goes a long way, and it's excellent for really seeing cause and effect as you mix. You can get a wider variety of hues, even though the overall chroma stays restrained. Many elegant paintings depend more on subtle shifts, neutrals, and temperature relationships than on intense saturation. You can even mix convincing versions of colors like Yellow Ochre, Burnt Sienna, and Burnt Umber, which is exactly why I didn't include those earth colors in the 369 essential palettes I introduced earlier. You can easily mix beautiful versions of them yourself. Hansa yellow medium and Perylene red can create warm and attractive oranges, but the results tend to be more earthy than brilliant. When you combine Perylene red, French Ultramarine, and Hansa yellow medium, you get rich organic grays and browns. Perylene red and French Ultramarine both go very dark, so even with just 3 tubes, you can push high contrast. It's an excellent set for learning to control value and to create depth and drama. Now the flip side, this palette has clear limitations. The most noticeable ones appear in the greens and purples. Think about the biases. Hansa yellow medium is a middle, slightly warm yellow, nudging toward orange. French ultramarine is a warm, red-biased blue, nudging toward violet rather than green. When you mix these two, you are not just mixing yellow plus blue. You are mixing yellow plus blue plus a subtle red influence, because both paints lean that way. Red is a complement to green, so that hidden red automatically knocks down the green's intensity. Result: your greens slide toward olive sap-like greens rather than bright spring grass greens. They are lovely for anything natural and slightly subdued, but they are not the right tool for sharp, high-key greens. To avoid overly muted greens, I often place colors side by side instead of fully pre-mixing them. Since the direct green mixtures from this triad tend to lean toward the sap or olive green, I balance them with brighter yellow-green and more blue-dominant green to create a fresher visual effect. In this way, the eye mixes the colors optically instead of mixing them on the palette, which helps preserve more vibrancy. These combinations produce naturalistic greens, but not especially bright ones. If you want fresher greens in a 3-color palette, you would keep a similar yellow and swap French ultramarine for a cool, green-biased blue, such as phthalo blue green shade or Windsor blue green shade. Now let's look at the violets. French ultramarine already leans toward red. Perylene red is a deep, slightly yellowish-brownish red, closer to maroon than to a clean magenta. So when you mix red and blue, you're actually mixing red plus blue plus a bit of yellow carried in the brownish bias of Perylene red. So when these two are mixed together, the result is not a clean, luminous violet. Result: you get smoky violets, wine tones, and deep shadow colors, not bright jewel-like purples. These are gorgeous for shadows, stormy skies, or moody florals, but they are not the choice for bright petals or glowing magenta accents. Again, one of this set's biggest weaknesses for bright color is also one of its greatest strengths for value and atmosphere. When all 3 colors are combined, you can push the mix to a very dark value close to black. By shifting the ratio a little, you can steer those blacks warmer or cooler. These are excellent for chromatic grays, soft blacks, and natural neutrals throughout a painting. If your goal is cleaner, more saturated greens and purples, this Daniel Smith primary set is not the ideal triad. In that case, you would move toward a more CMY-styled 3-color palette. I cover that triad in this Color Wheel Myths video, so feel free to check it out. With this combination, you will see brighter, cleaner purples, high chroma greens, generally more electric mixes across the board. But of course, there are trade-offs. The colors can feel too intense. Phthalo blue is very powerful and can dominate quickly. The palette is less naturally earthy and atmospheric. There is no perfect set of 3 primaries for every purpose. There is always a trade-off, no matter which 3 primaries you choose. A better triad only exists in relation to what you are trying to paint. The Daniel Smith primary set shines when you want realistic neutrals, earthy foliage, and atmospheric darks. A CMY-style triad shines when you want bright greens and purples and a more graphic high chroma look. Harmony often comes from limitations. A restricted palette isn't just about buying fewer tubes. It's a way to see the personality of each pigment more clearly and to understand how real paints behave on paper. The more you experiment with different 3-color combinations, the easier it becomes to find a triad that fits your own subjects, your style, and the way you like to see color.